Hello everyone, Twisted Animatronic here. Now a question which comes up time and time again is, are the Funtime animatronics actually possessed? Well, the real answer isn't as straightforward as you'd like to believe, and believe it or not, we've uncovered the truth and some pretty shocking evidence which may have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the Funtimes and Sister location. Because looking at the Funtimes directly, you can see something extremely odd about their blueprints. Take Funtime Freddy for example. Looking at the blueprint here, you can clearly see he was built for one thing: capturing children. It even shows a storage tank on the diagram, which you can see an actual child inside of. He has voice mimicry and luring capabilities, parental tracking, and even proximity sensors to find children alone and to capture them specifically, where once he's captured them, they would presumably die inside his chest cavity. Now, in the world of FNAF and the laws of possession, surely if that child died inside of Funtime Freddy, they would possess the animatronic, right? I mean, the game all but confirms this for us with Circus Baby, because as we know, Circus Baby lures, attacks, and kills Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, which we know then goes on to possess and control Circus Baby. We know this to be the case because Baby's eyes turn from blue to green after the event, signaling possession, right? But there's something extremely interesting and odd about this entire thing, because she doesn't directly control Baby. The AI is still in control, but nevertheless, she still possesses her. So presumably, if Freddy kills a child the same way in the chest cavity, they would then go on to possess Freddy, right? Indicating that two of the animatronics at this stage are possessed. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case, but I'll come back onto that later. Because we're forgetting the other Funtimes. You have Balara, for example, Funtime Foxy, and Funtime Chica. Now, Balara is a really interesting case in itself because there's a theory to suggest that Balara could indeed be possessed by Mrs. Afton. But there's also a theory to suggest that she isn't possessed at all. Isn't that right, Freddy? But looking at her blueprint, again, she has a very specific role. You see, she was built with a single purpose: to assist in the capturing of children. She wouldn't directly capture them. You see, what she would do, looking at her blueprint again, you can see that she would deter and misdirect. Basically meaning she would distract other children away and single one victim out. But she was also remotely activated by Circus Baby. And here's the interesting part. You would assume she isn't possessed, right? There is no way that a spirit could possess her. Well, hold that thought, because we'll come back to that. Funtime Foxy again is very similar in their role. Looking at their blueprint, they are again very much an assist AI Funtime, where they have a parental voice sync and a replay, scent releases, and again remote floor anchors controlled by Baby. So for Funtime Foxy and Balara, it would seem unlikely that they'd be possessed by a spirit that they would capture or kill themselves. But Funtime Freddy and Circus Baby definitely seem to have that ability. But with all that being said, there is far more here than meets the eye and far more behind the scenes in this entire thing. You see, Sister Location was used as a rental place where they'd rent out the animatronics for parties, because prior to that they had Circus Baby's Pizza World, which was promptly shut down on the first day because of Elizabeth's death. But they disguised it as a gas leak. Worth pointing out and noting here that Afton had built Circus Baby's Pizza World and Sister Location itself. And again, if it's unclear, Afton had built these robots specifically to go out, capture kids, and bring them back for Remnant. But at no point does it mention anything about them being possessed. That's what we're here to uncover today. Now here's the really strange thing. These animatronics, the Funtimes, had actually tried to escape the Sister Location's bunker. We know they've tried to escape before because Circus Baby says this line:
"I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside."
I mean, if they were just AI, they'd simply be following their program with no emotions or thought for themselves, right? So then why would they want to do that? That almost seems like they're a person, a human being. And this is where things start to get interesting. Because let's not forget, they also seemingly shock the animatronics as if they're punishing them for some reason. Why? Why would they do that if they're just AI machines? It makes no sense. It'd be like punching your PC because all of a sudden it stops working, which I never do. It's almost like they want to teach these animatronics a lesson for some reason, but that doesn't make sense because they're animatronics, they're machines. Glamrock Freddy isn't on his stage. Let's give him another controlled shark. There's evidence to support that obviously Baby is possessed, we know that. There's evidence to support that Funtime Freddy could easily be possessed too. But nothing on Balara, nothing on Foxy. But wait, there is a way Foxy and Balara can both be possessed. And it comes from the games themselves. Thinking back to FNAF 3, we have the End of Night minigames. Now obviously in these minigames, we play as each of the one animatronics. And what is interesting, at the end of all these minigames, we're confronted with Purple Guy, and he dismantles each and every one of them. And the reason he's dismantling them is because he's taking their parts, and he's using them in the sister location bunker. And what I mean by that is, he's melting them down, and in doing so, turning them into Remnant. And why would he be doing that? Because he's using them to build the Funtimes and make them more sentient. Meaning, he injected the Remnant directly into Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and even Balara, effectively making them possessed. Now, I know, you've probably got 1,000,001 questions, so let me continue to explain. Now, immediately, I don't think possessed is the right word, because obviously they were injected with the Remnant, meaning pieces of the original missing children are now in these Funtimes. The evidence basically comes from, 1, we see Afton dismantling the old animatronics for parts / Remnant, and 2, we also know that multiple souls inhibit Molten Freddy. Obviously, that's Fredbear, not Molten Freddy, which would mean them souls would have had to have come from somewhere. Henry even says this himself in the Insanity ending.
The loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable.
That right there confirms that they were the old souls in his animatronics, the original FNAF animatronics. And the way that they were used, as he says himself, was in the Funtimes. They were being used to capture and kill other kids. Nothing like they were intended to do originally, which was entertain kids. I mean, even in the books in the 4th closet, it's similar to how it happens in the games. William melts down the pieces from the classic animatronics and injects the parts into the Funtimes. It's confirmed in the book. And let's not talk about the legendary Candy Cadet and their stories, where they're constantly talking about 5 things becoming 1, and then 5 things with the 5 kids being turned into Molten Freddy. Now, as we know, the Funtimes become Ennard, and they inject themselves into Mike until Mike starts decomposing, and they eject themselves from him into the sewers. Eventually, they also eject Circus Baby, leaving 3 animatronics as 1, which they become Molten Freddy. Now, I know what you're thinking, how can the 3 animatronics turn into 5? Well, think about it. The original animatronics were 4, Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, and then with Elizabeth, that's 5, which obviously is what we see in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator. He also says this:
I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
That right there again is a direct continuation. He's undoing what William had caused in the Follow Me minigame. And the reason he's obviously calling them all back is because he wants to set them all free. All of them, including the originals, which went into the Funtimes, and then convert into Molten Freddy. And if you need even more proof, Molten Freddy's blueprint specifically says that it's made up of various sister location animatronics. Enough said. And I know you're probably thinking, well, how is this even possible? Because we see William Afton die, obviously in the safe room. When the children attack him, he goes into the spring-lock suit and gets spring-locked. So then how, if he was locked in this room for a very long time, did he collect the Remnant, go to sister location bunker, and make the Funtimes? Well, it's quite simple, really. Purple Guy could have easily have took the Remnant from minigame 4 to sister location. I mean, William literally does this in the 4th closet. One way or another, you can easily say that he could have gathered the Remnant on the 4th night, took it there, came back on the 5th night for something else, and that's when they attack him. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what is the motive? Why has William Afton decided to do all this? Well, it's simple. He wanted to become immortal. He wanted all this Remnant, experiment with it, and make himself immortal. But wait, there's something we've completely forgotten. The poor and left out Funtime Chica. Now, we don't directly see her in sister location, but she is in Ultimate Custom Night and in Help Wanted too. Now, I do believe she was hinted at being there, but was rented out during the time we were in sister location. And if that was the case, we can assume she was made exactly like the other Funtimes, injected with the MCI victim's Remnant. Although, she wouldn't be part of Ennard because, again, she was rented out. But she could have been lured to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator location and burned in the fire along with everyone else. I think it was definitely worth bringing her up because obviously she is a Funtime. It's a question I've always asked, whether or not the Funtimes were possessed, and we kind of already figured that out. Baby, well, yeah, she's obviously possessed by Elizabeth. The rest of the Funtimes, well, they were injected with the Remnant directly from the original animatronics and the MCI victims, basically making them sentient killing machines because they still had AI inside of them. And and not to be confused like the original animatronics who were possessed by the children's souls, which is a different kind of possession as opposed to the remnant. But the question I've got to ask you right now is, why did Ennard seemingly kick out Baby? And if you want to know the answer to that question, I have a video on it right here, and I highly recommend checking out all my other videos. And if you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe for plenty more content on the channel. You should subscribe right now, otherwise I'll send Headless Freddy after you. No, seriously though, you should subscribe. I'd like to thank my YouTube members who are on screen now, and a special thanks to William Plays 844, who's a golden twisted one, and Penguin Lover 12, who's actually a twisted animatronic, an ultimate theorist. And if you want to join and support and get your name at the end of the videos, become a member today. As always, that's a twisted theory, and stay safe out there, superstars. Don't know what I'm doing.